Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky. Pillow and breeze and islands and seas, mountains of rain and sun. All that was good, all that was fair, all that was me is gone. Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I don't know what the problem was the first time. Just waiting on Phyllis.
It says she got in, so I wonder if she got in on the old link.
I didn't change the link. I
Oh, you
didn't.
did?
I just reposted.
Oh. So where is she then?
Turn off the excuse me, music here. Excuse me.
You sound lovely.
No, it's allergies.
Oh.
We're in that time of year, so.
You already have pollen up there?
Oh God, yes.
We're not quite there yet.
I mean, it was 70. We've been in the 70s off and on.
Nice.
2 weeks.
We've only been hitting about 55, sometimes 60.
Yeah, well, the problem is, I mean, my stuff started when we had the fire next door.
Oh. Yeah, that'll happen.
Well, we are broadcasting, so I went ahead and started the broadcast.
Yep. She said she's in the link posted, so that's weird. Where is she?
That's really weird. Yeah, it's the same. I just reposted. I just went up and grabbed the link again from inside and reposted it. I didn't open a new window or anything.
Strange.
Very odd. Trying to see. Oh, I'm very confused because I'm in one room. Hang on, Phyllis. I'm in one room with you, and I'm in a different room with Corey. I don't know how.
Yeah, the one on YouTube showed you and Corey talking. So, just so you know. Okay. Well,
I'm trying to figure out. Click on the second link. Okay, click on the second thing I posted and see if that, because I clicked on the first one on my phone to see what would happen.
Okay.
And like I said, so I'm talking to you on my phone and Corey on my computer. So. Okay. That's weird.
That is very weird.
It's the same dang link.
That's bizarre.
I wonder. Go and check that second posting. I don't know why they're different though. Because like I said, it's the same link. Up at the top, you can share the link when you go up. You know,
Yep.
Do you guys see that too?
No.
When you click inside the window, up at the top, things will pop up, and you have like add people, mute your mic,
Yep.
turn the camera off. That little person thing, when you hover over that or click on that, and it says invite people, it pops up a link.
Oh, I don't have that.
Oh, you don't have that? Maybe it's just the person who initiates the thing.
Probably.
But yeah, it's the same thing. Like I said, from inside this window that's been open the whole time. There she is.
There I am.
I don't know why it was the same link I posted both times as far as it from inside the same window.
I know, that's weird. Well, were you trying to get the chat screen up or something, maybe?
Well, I was clicking over, I don't know. At one point I had Safari up to see if maybe I can't get the chat up in YouTube.
Huh.
Going through Google. I'd have to actually be live streaming through YouTube to get the chat option to work. For some reason, the live chat, even though I have it enabled, when I have that option, click to enable that inside this, it doesn't come up. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I was just going to have to watch you guys.
Well, Corey can only stay for 30 minutes, so we got to chop, chop, chop.
Yeah, let's get through this.
So, I mean, these are not my favorite episodes.
Okay.
Me neither.
I mean, there's some parts of it I really like, because some parts of it I was thinking about, because we're doing The Gathering and Rent tonight.
Yep.
And The Gathering, it's, you know, starts out with that whole false chase thing where you think Claire is running and being chased, and it turns out to be, you know, we're playing with the kids.
Yep.
And then, you know, I love Angus walking over the top of her with his kilt. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
it's so Angus, you know?
Gives you a little backstory on the clan. I know with
it does, and it also lets us see that, you know, gives us that sense of community.
Yeah.
Kind of realizing she's never had before.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, and how part of her wishes, you know, that she wasn't trying to get away. So it was kind of I kind of feel like it was a little more of the beginning of the seduction of Claire to the 1700s.
Yeah.
You know, wanting to stay. Jamie's a draw, but there's also this whole clan to belong to, this whole community that and family that she's never had before.
Yeah.
That she's become a part of.
Yeah.
But, and I love seeing Angus and Rupert, you know, those kind of petulant boys, like, but we're missing it.
Yeah, we're missing the party.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And we hear her. I mean, again, the first time I watched this series, I didn't really have a problem with the voiceover, but the voiceover is so heavy. There's so much of it, is what I mean.
Yeah. It did thin out more towards as the season went along.
Yeah, but thank God, because I don't know, I think I would be really, really nuts if it had continued that voiceover heavy throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, really? I'm not a grade schooler.
Maybe the audience is.
Yeah, now think of you're coming from the book too,
right.
So
but
maybe
still,
you didn't need the voiceover, but it was kind of
even if you're not a book reader,
Oh.
if you do it well, if you've written it well,
You don't think they'd need it?
you should be able to. I would think you could get by with less of it. I mean, I know the entire book was written in first person. You know, Claire's perspective, Claire's point of view. She was talking and telling the whole story. But something that's real, I think that a show that's done really well, a TV show that's done really well, should be able to get a lot of that across through character interaction, the action on the screen, and hopefully your actress, without having to explicitly say, I'm doing this because then I need to do this, and then I need these people to do that so that I can get here.
Yeah.
I just felt like we were being hand-led through a lot of the plot.
Yeah.
So, and again, I am coming at it from a book perspective, and knowing what's going on. So I don't know how different it would have been if I had come from it. Not.
Did it bother you the first watch, or just the subsequent times?
Like I said, I don't remember it bothering me that much the first time through.
Okay.
But I was binge watching the first 8 episodes. Because I didn't start watching until after the first 8 episodes were out. Sorry, my little one down here is distant.
I don't remember it bothering me as a non-book reader at the time for the first 7 episodes. I don't remember the voiceover bothering me.
Yeah, and like I said, maybe it's just me because of the fact that I'm now annoyed by so much of Claire's voice.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, just.
Yeah.
No.
That's true. Well.
Sorry. He's just going to sit down there and whine if I don't.
Yeah, he wants to be part.
Yeah. Well, I've been eating little goldfish pretzels and
kind
of sharing, so we're done now. No more, little boy. So yeah, we're working through Claire, and we get more of what's her name, Galus.
Galus, yeah.
And like I said, I had a hard time with Galus at first because a lot of times I was like, what the hell is she doing?
I thought she was really annoying.
Yeah, I didn't like the way she was playing the characters. Like, I felt like she was almost making a caricature out of the character.
That's how I felt, especially when I hadn't read the book. I just was like, this woman's bizarre, and the way she was speaking, like her intonation or the way she was using her accent just really rubbed me the wrong way.
This time, though, I'm liking her a lot more. I mean, the rewatch, I'm liking her a lot more. Especially, I think this episode, I liked her a little bit more. Don't eat the plant. Oh, sorry, they're digging in something, and Gracie's found something that she's targeting. God. I'm liking her a little bit more, and when you watch it now, you can definitely look at it and go, of course, now we're looking at it from hindsight and we know who Galus is and we know where she's from, but now you can definitely see her fishing.
Yeah, that's what she was doing down in the surgery there. Was really trying to get Claire to say something specific, and she wasn't. She was trying to avoid it about the husband being dead. So.
Yeah, and the whole thing, haven't you ever found yourself in a situation?
Yeah.
That whole thing. So.
Right.
Do you think she was suspicious at that point of her, or as a traveler, or not, or just being?
Well, I think she was wondering.
Claire
because if you remember, well, we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
We find out later that Galus may have done a bit of research herself on the whole traveling phenomenon.
Right.
But on the other hand, she never. Well, that like you said, that's
we haven't found it out yet.
I don't think she ever knew. I don't think she ever knew ahead of time. But I think I think if you remember in book 3, when Claire actually starts going through something that belonged to Gillian,
in it.
But there's a bunch of
paper clippings, and I'm pretty sure Claire's disappearance was included in that.
It was, but so was a lot of other things, and I think that was just stuff Gillian. But this, we're speaking ahead. But I really got the impression that because she never marked her return, and it was posted, so it was noted in the news. So I don't think by name that she actually put the connection together. She'd been there a few years, you know. Spoilers, spoilers. Yeah, we should we should do like an off topic book talk thing.
Well, you decided to have to post a spoiler alert in the.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Gillis can sense that Claire is not quite of that time. Maybe that there's something different about her. She's too independent, maybe, or she's too knowledgeable as a young woman. Do you think? Could that be something that maybe? So she might be suspicious about. Well, what is her story? Because she doesn't. She's not acting like the other women in this town that are suspicious.
What I think is that she sees the more, excuse me, the more modern.
Yeah.
Personality.
Yeah.
You know, a much more independent, you know, not afraid to speak up, confident.
Yeah, she doesn't fall for the superstition that Gillis threw at her on the last the one before where she didn't believe the kid was possessed, and
yes, yeah.
so she didn't fall for all that. She didn't jump into that mindset that would maybe a woman of that time might have. So.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure. For me, Gillis was always suspicious of her because she showed up out of the blue.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
With a suspicious story, and you know, how did she get here? That's just a little far-fetched. So, and Gillis was always looking out for Gillis, so she was going to find out, you know, who this possible threat would be.
Yeah.
And we know the fact that Gillis is
a Jacobite. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a patriot.
Yeah. So that would.
Here's this English woman that.
So is Claire a spy?
Yeah. Has she come back to ensure that, you know?
Yeah.
History goes the way history's gonna go.
Mhm.
So I think she was always wanting to make sure who she was, where she was from, and what her motives were.
Yeah.
And what her agenda was. So.
Yep.
But anyway, we get. I'm trying to do this in my head. Because we got Mrs. Fitz telling her she needed to come to the oath taking, and then we got Ron and Diana's cameos. And we get Column, we got the whole ceremony part, the whole, you know, pageantry of the reason for the gathering and the oath swearing, which I like. I really like that whole. That's a very, you know, evocative scene there, with the bagpipes playing, and it's very atmospheric and gives you a real sense of. Feels like it gives me a real sense of the time and the importance of this event.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then, you know, the whole symbolism of Dougal being the first one to take the oath.
Yep.
So, and then we get, you know, Claire trying to leave, and the port with Angus, and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
When she says it's a sedative, and he's like, "Is that Spanish?"
That was funny. That was very funny.
Yeah, I like that part.
That was funny. You get the first indication that Dougal, even if he's drunk, he's interested. You know, he would take advantage of her if he could, kind of thing. I always thought.
We also find out later in that same episode that Dougal kind of took advantage of anything in a skirt.
Right, that's true. That's
anything
true.
in a skirt that held still long enough.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Yeah.
Then we get her, you know, her trying to escape and having worked out the plan and running into the drunk
crowd, yeah.
Yeah, the drunk Klansman, and then Dougal rescuing her, and then her having to rescue herself from Dougal.
Yeah.
And then getting out to the stables and then tripping over Jamie.
Right.
So, I mean, this was our first sighting of Jamie in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
And I like that whole, that whole scene. That scene is, a lot of that scene is from the book, if I remember correctly. Tripping over him in the stable and the scene in the stable.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, that was nice. It gave them that opportunity again to bond or to have interaction.
Yeah, which like I said, there are certain episodes I'm sorely missing more Jamie Claire
Mm-hmm.
to see where this, where this connection came from.
Right.
That we get, later on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he takes her back, and then of course ends up being pulled in, having to do the whole oath thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why were they really pushing him to, like all those people there, pushing him to take the oath? Because they know he's a Fraser, right? I mean, why were they...
Well, he's a Mackenzie, though. He's also a Mackenzie.
He could claim a right to the clan, to the lead.
But did they not know the dynamics of, like, kind of how they explain that, Dougal would basically kill him if he did do it?
Yeah, but see, that's what Murtaugh explains, is that it's who the clan wants, and it basically would set up a tug of war between Dougal and Jamie if Jamie wants to swear allegiance to the clan.
Yep.
Jamie could claim it, and there would be people that would support Jamie over Dougal, and that would have been a big issue. So that's why there's
split the clan.
That's why he was caught between a rock and a hard place, right?
Yep.
So, and the fact that they're giving him sanctuary on Mackenzie land. He has the Mackenzie heritage.
Mm-hmm.
If he's going to be living there, he might as well be swearing loyalty to the Mackenzie.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
As far as the rest of the clan is concerned.
Okay, got it.
I mean, that's what I get from it, is that from a clansman perspective, why wouldn't he?
Okay.
Because the politics of it, they're not thinking big picture politics. They're thinking,
Right.
he just needs to be a sworn member of the clan since he already rides with us and he,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
he's gone to battle with us. Why is he not? Why wouldn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's more the internal part of it. That's at a higher level. I feel like that's at a higher level. That underplot, as far as Colum knowing that he's not going to survive long enough for Hamish to be an adult, to be an obvious choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he knows that Dougal, as laird of the clan, could very well end up running the clan, ripping the clan apart, and being the ruination of the clan.
Yeah.
Because Dougal's much less politically minded, and he's definitely the war chief.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I love the fact that we got that whole bit of fact that emphasizes the fact that Jamie's, how smart he is and how, what a tactical thinker he is.
Yep.
Being able to come up with a way to play both sides.
Yep.
Not really play both sides, but find a way to walk the line in between both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. His leadership qualities there come out.
Exactly.
Yeah. That was
exactly. And I had forgotten. I missed a lot of that in the second half.
Yes.
Of the show, because of the way they changed his interactions at Lollybrock.
Yes.
And I had forgotten that they had done a lot of that in several of the episodes here at the beginning.
Yep.
To show us.
Yep.
But that's still, where did that leave us at the end of the episode? Because he swore his oath and then took off and.
Oh, that leaves Dougal confronting her.
Oh, out on the hunt when she does the whole.
Yeah, that's right. They had the hunt. I'm sorry. Yeah, the hunt was the next day. Right.
Yeah, the hunt and
the
people recognizing the fact that she's, very experienced in seeing men who've been through traumatic, in dealing with that, and very cool-minded and cool-headed, and knowing how to ease men into death.
Right. Right. Right.
So, and I mean, we get a little bit more of Claire and her 20th century attitudes as far as rooting for the pig, as she keeps saying.
Yeah.
Hairy pig.
You know, obviously not realizing, not really being tuned in and plugged into the fact that, yeah, it's a hunt, but they're also hunting. This is part of the survival. I mean, they're not just hunting for pleasure. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna hunt the boar down, and that's gonna become meat for the winter, and the fact that this is not a pig. This is a wild animal who will rip you to pieces.
Right.
Yep.
If you run across them out in the wild, not hunting them. And then we get the whole shinty game, which I love that whole.
Yeah, that was good.
Interaction, something completely new that they've added. That's not in the book, but I really enjoyed. You know, seeing the direct clash between Jamie and Dougal.
Right.
And the force of the battle of their wills and their strength against each other. And showing us that Jamie, you know, will best Dougal. That if it came right down to it, Jamie is probably the better man. In an abstract way. He just bested him physically as far as that last little trick, but for me, again, it was more of a representational thing that in the end, Jamie would be the better man for everyone.
Yep.
Leadership.
Yeah. Oh, he's younger, yeah, being younger. He's stronger and younger now.
Excuse me. So Shinty, and then what happened next? I'm trying to remember how this episode. Oh, Dougal ends up in the surgery with Claire.
Right.
Talking to her, and that's when he tells her, "You're going on the road with me. We're going to go collect the rents, and it would be good to have a healer."
Right. Yeah.
So, and then, you know, and that's gathering.
The next chance to get away.
Yeah. Oh yes. Or die trying.
Am I going to die trying?
The whole die trying thing just irritates me every time I hear it.
Well, because they used it more than once, so.
Yep.
So then we move on into Rent, and we go on the road with Claire and her traveling designer wardrobe.
Right, that fur coat.
I mean, good Lord, the woman would have taken one dress and one coat.
Yep.
Right.
And would have been very, very bedraggled by the end of it. But we get to see her interaction with Ned, which really is kind of the first time we've seen much with Ned, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the first time I think we see him. So.
Yeah, I kind of was like, oh yeah, I forgot about him when I started watching.
Yeah, because I don't think we see him any earlier than this.
No.
Unless he's in the background, that's only.
Yeah.
But he's never brought.
Well, maybe not. This may be our very first introduction to Ned.
Yep.
So we meet Ned. We have Ned and Claire talking to each other, and Dougal always with the eagle eye, always watching her, and her commenting that she knows she's always being watched.
Yep.
Right.
And then we again end up with judgmental Claire. This whole
yes.
2/3 of this episode. Standoffish and judgy and.
Well, they were kind of mean to her too, though. They, because she's a woman and English, so they were ignoring her and making jokes about her and.
Yeah, talking in Gaelic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's. Yeah, definitely that. But like I said, I'm also thinking that if you are trying to get along in a different time, that you don't sit back in judgment of the people of that time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I thought she was a little strong, a little shrewish in this whole situation because, she kind of should have realized by now what the deal was and that she couldn't just start putting her foot down, basically, or challenging those guys for Dougal. that, you know, I noticed it most with that argument over the little goat for the
Yeah.
baby.
Yes.
That she just loses it to where, you know, she was just acting so wrong to
Yeah.
those guys. I mean, she had a point, but it was never going to get her what she wanted. So I just think, yeah, they kind of pushed it to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
It was totally off.
Well, I mean, it was kind of the first example of Claire not being smart.
Right.
You know, this whole episode and the episode before this, she's been so super smart and clever, and this was the first time that she just kind of lost her perspective, and that whole cleverness that they told us, that kept pushing at us how clever she is,
Yeah.
and being able to talk her way in and out of situations.
Mhm.
And she just lost it. I mean, the whole Angus, I think maybe it was supposed to show us that Angus threw her off with the way he treated her and dragging her around, and she just lost her temper. And that when Claire loses her temper, she loses her focus. She loses that ability to be able to think rationally and, you know, find a way to work people around to what she wants.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She just was, you know, because not even in her time would she have been able to act that way
No, not at all.
That's true.
and get away with it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and that whole, I don't know, I'm not sure I liked her when she thought she'd figured out what was going on, and her superior, you know, what is it, two sets of books, one for you, one for the Laird.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I don't know, I just don't know if I really like that whole,
Hmm.
Yep.
maybe it was their way of showing us that she's fallible.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
Because all the rest of the time there were so many times that I feel like they've made Claire super Claire.
Yep. Yep.
This super heroine.
Right. I don't remember from the book if she ever voiced her thoughts on it until she'd actually figured it out.
Yeah, I don't remember her.
Yeah, she never really, she just kind of let everything go on about her, but she never really said, you know, the wrong thing. She didn't voice the thoughts that she didn't understand. I mean, she just accepted she didn't understand what they were talking about in the taverns and in the pubs and stuff. And until she finally did figure out really what was going on, I think. Yeah. So them showing her go the wrong direction and how she's figuring it out, that I don't think that came from the book. But it's been a while. I'll have to look at the book again.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how strategic that is. Just the lack of strategy. I mean, you don't tip your hand
Yeah.
and tell people, "Oh, I know what you're doing," because you're not
Yeah.
exactly at a position of strength to start with.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Not like you can say, "Oh, I know what you're doing, so now you're going to have to do this for me." It's like, no, you're on the road by yourself with these Klansmen who could dump you in a ditch,
Yep.
and nobody would say anything. They're like, "Oh, she caught a chill and she died."
Yeah.
So, you know, her position's a lot more precarious than she's acting.
Right.
Yep.
So,
Oh, I just saw the time. I need to head out.
alrighty. Well, we will finish up, and then we will do Garrison Commander and the wedding next week.
Okay. I don't think I've watched Garrison Commander since the first time. I think that's the only episode I've watched once.
It's a tough one because of
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a very, very, very little action. It's all very intense emotionally because it all takes place mostly in that room.
Yes, exactly.
So, but until they break out and show us, you know, Blackjack and Jamie, and
Yep.
that's tough to watch.
Yep.
So,
All right. We'll see you next week.
alrighty, hon. Thanks for
See you later.
coming.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
I did like the fact that this was kind of the first time they told us that a lot of time has passed.
Yeah.
You know, I felt rushed the first part of these first 4 episodes. I felt like they rushed so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they were pushing forward timeline-wise. And this is the first time they actually said we were on the road for weeks. You know, this amount of time has passed.
Uh-huh.
And I like that because I like the fact that it felt like it gave it more time to breathe in the story, more time in the fact that she was, you know, on the road for a long period of time.
Right.
Interacting with these men and seeing everything and watching every night with, you know, Dougal and using Jamie to gain the money. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Plus also, I mean, they don't show it as much, but she gets to see the people too, the people of the clan and how that works. I mean, they do show it, but I mean, I guess we can infer that she really gets a sense of the people of the time that are part of this clan system. You know,
yeah, and seeing the clan lands. I mean, just the spread and how much the vastness of Mackenzie influence and land and
and the little communities and and then they come up on the watch. I was looking at it to see if it was the same guys, and it isn't. So, because I hadn't thought about that when the later show comes up with the watch. So.
Well, Lollybrock's a lot farther away than.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The watch is different areas, but.
So yeah, it's your local mob.
Yeah, right. But that was interesting too.
Terrorizes you.
They got that little backstory of what the watch was and what they did, and
yeah, and we get showing that, you know, how English sympathizers are treated by the Scots and how Scots are treated by the English. We get both sides of that.
True. We get those crucified guys,
yeah,
that were traitors.
Well, traitors to, as far as the English were concerned, because they were strung up by the English.
Yeah, so they would have been Jacobite then.
Right.
Right. So so that also shows you the rule of the English, or the presence of the English. It wasn't that they were, well, they did rule it. I guess Scotland was still under English rule. So their presence there and what effect that had. So.
Well, and just how some of I mean, it's not English justice, because there's no justice in men being strung up and crucified at the side of the road.
No.
So that's a very small taste of what the whole of Scotland is experiencing. That's a very small taste of it, because the rest of it we get is from what happens to Jamie, pretty much.
That's true.
You know, what's visited on Jamie is mostly the representation of how the Scots are treated by the English.
Right.
I kind of feel like the three guys, however many it was on the side of the road, that's kind of the other.
Yeah.
Almost the only other piece that shows us that it's not just Jamie, it's not just Blackjack having it in for Jamie. It is a widespread, much more pervasive.
Right. Yeah, and if not exactly condoned or whatever, it's happening. You know, you also will see that in the next show too, I think. When they do the garrison commander, it also gives you that sense. I know that's talking on, but
well, they talk about it a little bit, because they talk about the Scots and what happens to a single soldier, an English soldier.
Right, but then I think they don't. Oh well, it's been a while. I haven't watched it for a while, so.
Well, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, you guys, yeah. So, that's true.
Because then we get to the point, I mean, Claire's gone along thinking that it was Ned and Dougal collecting extra money from the Mackenzies for themselves, for their own personal profit.
Right.
And then she finally gets to the point where she recognizes the Gaelic for long live the Stuart.
Right.
And she realizes that, oh no, they're not common thieves, they're actually, you know, Scottish patriots who are working for the Jacobite cause.
Right. They're collecting money for that. Yeah.
So, and it actually it's amazing how, if you notice, it changes her attitude. It's like she flips all of a sudden.
Yeah.
No longer condescending and superior to them. Now she's like, oh no, these are men who are going to end up dying.
Right.
For their beliefs. So suddenly she's a lot more sympathetic to them. She's trying to, in talking to Ned that whole time when she's talking to Ned, trying to tell him what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's all this, like, all of a sudden her sympathies have shifted. This is where the big shift happens.
I think it's personal because she knows these guys, and I think that's part of the voiceover. She talks about these men are going to die. Basically, these men are doomed because she knows what happens at Culloden, and so she's looking at these people that she knows, really, literally knows, and she knows they're all doomed. And I guess they tell you like 3 years, so they kind of set the timeline.
That was
interesting. Yeah.
So, and then we finally get the men starting a fight to defend her honor.
Right.
Kind of that, I can beat on you, but nobody else can.
Right.
Kind of, I can beat up my little brother, but nobody else can.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, the guys were talking in Gaelic, and she couldn't understand that. So.
Yeah. So, and then we get the whole thing making a joke to Rupert, and
right.
Kind of also change the men's attitude towards her.
Right. I like the way they shot that, where she made the comment and Jamie comes around from the other side of the horse and just looks at her like he doesn't know what's going to happen. Are they going to go ballistic on her? Is he going to have to protect her or what? Because he just kind of was. It's an interesting shot. I really think that was clever the way they did it.
Yeah. So. Well, and I like the fact that in this episode, they let us see that even though Jamie has, developing this thing for Claire, he's not blinded by it.
Yeah,
because that's true. Say, don't judge things you don't understand.
Uh-huh.
Don't sit in judgment of us.
Right, he does tell her that. And
yeah.
Yeah, you can't say. Right.
And again, it gave us little moments of Jamie and Claire during all these weeks, all this time that they've supposedly spent together.
Right, that's true.
On the road, and I love the little, in the book, I loved it, the little scene outside her room in the tavern.
Oh yeah. I was so glad they included that as part of his watching over her and trying to make sure she's okay, kind of thing. But yet offended, shocked that she would invite him in the room.
Yeah.
Her reputation, because on one way they're always calling her this Sassenach whore.
Yeah.
Dougal's called her that, and I think at least one of the Rupert or Angus called her that. And yet here, Jamie's worried about her reputation. Your reputation.
Yeah, and she's like, but I've been on the road for weeks with you, man, sleeping out in the open. And that's not the same thing at all.
Really?
No, but yeah, I was very glad that got included, because it showed us, because this is all from Claire's POV.
Yeah.
So it showed us, it finally gave us a true glimpse into what was happening with Jamie as far as how he felt and what was developing for him. Because he'd taken it upon himself to protect her. Out on the road, he could easily keep an eye on her.
Right, that's true.
And it wouldn't be obvious, but here it's super obvious, the fact that he's sleeping on the floor in front of her door.
Right, so that no one could disturb her. And it also does contrast him to the other guys who have been talking just pretty raucously about their exploits. What doesn't Angus tell her? Rupert tells a story about having 2 women in the same bed, and
Angus is doing the same thing as far as talking about exploits and how men talk.
Right, they're just
talking
together. Totally randy stories, and then
it's like a fish story.
Yeah.
Fish bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
It was actually a minnow. Yeah.
Right. So so that does kind of contrast him too, because you don't ever see him really get into that. He doesn't talk those stories.
Well, and we find out later why.
Yeah. Well, I realize that, but still, you know, the men are just talking those crazy stories, and then here he's part of it. He's laughing along, but he's not participating. He's got different. He's got a different moral code.
Yeah, and it does show the difference between he and Dougal, because Dougal is also one that was telling. He told a joke.
Yeah, he told that joke. Yeah.
So it showed Dougal more of being at the same level of his men.
Yeah.
And Jamie being more, you know, while still a part of them, he's more drawn back from it.
Right.
Drawn back's not the right word.
Yeah.
Slightly more above it as far as getting down in the muck.
Right. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
So more elevated.
Right.
You know, he's more highly educated, which again, I miss that they didn't have taken a lot of that out.
Uh-huh.
But again, it's a sign of somebody who is always, I mean, it's a sign of somebody who is a leader could be a leader for everybody, not just for the soldiers.
Right. Right.
He can fight with the best of them stand, you know, shoulder to shoulder and fight everybody into the ground. But he can also think beyond that.
Right. He's more, yeah, he can do the political part of it. He can do the reasoning and more of that side.
This is an example of Dougal. Dougal's the warlord. He can be out there in the trenches with his men, but he's not such a I mean, he's a strategic thinker as far as battle goes.
Right.
But as far as big time, you know, big picture politics, not so much.
Right. That's true.
Because the whole thing about, you know, we'll get it later, but he is an avowed Jacobite and is willing to sacrifice the clan, basically.
That's true. That's true.
For his beliefs. He's willing to take the clan to rack and ruin to try and put a Stuart king back on the throne, whereas Colum would be more like, is this good for the clan?
Right, right. He's looking at the big picture, and yeah, Dougal is the warrior.
Yeah, he's very focused on, you know, what he feels is right in this one instance, but not
the bigger
picture. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, but we got our first little glimpse of Lieutenant, was this Foster?
Yeah.
As the Scott Assassinat called him, Lanny called him Lieutenant Babyface.
Yeah.
Calling him Lieutenant Babyface.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that was a good little scene. Yeah, when we first see him, we don't know who is this guy, other than he's got an English accent, but he's dressed like a blacksmith. You know, what's going on there?
Yeah, until, you know, after he's back down and puts the red coat on.
Yeah.
Because in that same scene, he does go back and get his uniform jacket.
Yeah, he puts on his uniform.
But again, he's a single soldier against
the
group of Mackenzies. True. So I mean, we get Claire trying to tell Ned, you know, this is going to happen. It's not going to be good. You're going to lose. You can't fight the English. And Ned's saying, well, I'll be damned if we can't fight the English. You know, nothing is set in stone, blah, blah, blah. Because then you get Dougal confronting her at the river saying, why are you trying to sow seeds of doubt and amongst the men? And we get the whole cliffhanger thing with, you know, the soldiers all up on them down at the riverbed and the soldiers up on the elevation above them.
Right, and it's just Dougal this time.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not when you can binge watch and watch them all in a row. That kind of thing is fine, but the cliffhanger, the obvious cliffhanger thing, I'm like, you know, it's not network TV. You don't really have to do that.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna come back. I mean, we're going to come back and watch it. You don't have to leave somebody on the brink of death or on the brink of being carried away.
Right. Well, I think it was more of a question because I kind of thought it was clever after I watched it. At first I didn't, because when I'm watching it, I go, wait a minute. But you didn't know what her answer was going to be. Here was her chance to actually tell the guy, yeah, I'm being held hostage, and they would have taken him out and taken her back. But then, the devil you know, the devil you don't, right? So
well, she didn't have good luck with the first Englishman she ran across.
Yeah, but I think, well, it'll happen next week. I mean, we'll see, kind of, because she does end up there. But yeah, you don't know her answer because she's been talking all this time about how she needs to get away from the clan and be, get back to where she needs to be. Here's another opportunity, and it's this English soldier that's willing to protect her.
Yeah.
But what is her answer going to be? I thought it was clever. I don't know. I mean, they could have done it either way. I know with listening to Ron's talk, he said, they actually had filmed it all the way through, but they said they decided to cut it at that point. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
all shows are like this.
It's amazing how we can be super critical on the rewatch.
Yeah.
Now that we're going back and rewatching it, the first time through, I loved almost everything.
Right, but now you knew how it played out. You didn't know how it would play out when you first watched it through.
Yeah, there were times I was watching, I kept hoping, okay, the next episode, hopefully I see this, and the next episode, hopefully I see this. Right. And then I was going back and watching it, and it's like I didn't get some of those things I wanted.
Yeah, you had read the books then, yeah.
So, anyway.
Oh.
Well, that's gotten us through,
5 episodes.
Yeah.
11 to go. Okay, your screen has frozen for some reason here. So. Okay. Hey, your screen froze.
Yeah, and I'm actually in here twice now.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea.
Your screen froze up. Oh.
Well, the whole thing crashed.
Oh wow! Again, just like last week. Ah.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything. It's not like I was trying to open up another window or something. It's just all of a sudden it was like, whoops, snap, something went wrong. That was that was the page I snapped, something went wrong.
Okay, so now something's dropped off.
And so now I'm only in here once.
Okay. Huh.
Weird.
Weird.
If it see what it did to the broadcast.
We might as well turn it. Let's wrap it
Because
up.
we're still live. So, yeah, we were almost done anyway.
Yeah, it says live on my screen.
Yeah, well, I was just looking to make sure that we didn't drop off of the YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
Nope, it's still going because we're only behind by probably 20, 30 seconds.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I can read my lips about what I'm saying. So, gets us through first 5 episodes. Next week we'll do 106 and 107, which is Garrison Commander and The Wedding. So I'll hopefully try and promote us a little more and see if we can get a few more people to pop in who want to discuss The Wedding.
Yeah, hopefully. Huh.
So, and we can maybe talk. Trying to figure out we can talk maybe not next week but the week after about some of the promo we've gotten for season, because we'll have gotten through the first half of the season and start on The Reckoning for the next half.
Okay, sounds good.
So, and I'll post and see how many people actually have the extended version of The Reckoning.
Oh, that's right. That was on the DVDs, right?
On the DVD. So because there's an extra 10 minutes, 10, 15, somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes extra.
Wow.
On the extended version.
I wonder if anyone's posted that on YouTube or anything. Maybe it can be found somewhere. Because I never bought the DVDs. I don't have any reason to.
Yeah, you had to buy the DVDs to get it because it's not available for streaming. I mean, it's not even when you bought the off of iTunes or Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, that was. We basically only did about 45, 50 minutes. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think we started until almost a quarter after, maybe even later than a quarter after.
Yeah. So that was a short one.
I wish I could figure out the chat, because I thought the chat because I've seen it work for other people, and it just won't work for me. Oh. Look on the watch page. Maybe I'm just not on the right page. No, because it should pop up over at the side. Oh well. We'll see. So yeah, next week, 106 and 107.
All right.
Because we're steaming towards April 9th.
Yeah, really.
They finished filming. Last day of filming was yesterday.
Wow, it went that long. That's amazing.
Yeah, they just finished filming, primary filming. So they're in post on everything now.
Wow, no rush for them. I mean, I know that it's for shows that are further down, but still, give them.
Well, I know I saw there was an interview with somebody was interviewed on one of the podcasts, but it may have been interviewed in December. Somebody was interviewing Meryl Davis. I can't remember if it was November, if it was December or January, but they hadn't completed a single episode.
Oh, wow. They're still working on all of them.
As far as the post-production, even in post-production, they didn't have anything completed in the can yet.
Wow.
So
it must be good then.
And that, like I said, that was either December, could have even been January. I can't remember which interview that was. I think it was maybe Outlander cast.
Wow.
Interviewing Meryl Davis, and for some reason I'm thinking that was in January.
Wow. When did they go back to filming? I don't remember. Was it in the summer or late summer?
They started shooting in May.
Oh, well, they've been shooting almost the whole year. They've been shooting 10 months, basically. They've been shooting almost 10 months.
What they say, it takes
9 months?
a month to shoot a block?
Well, yeah, it takes, 3 or 4 weeks, yeah.
And there are 13 episodes, so there were basically 6 or 7 blocks, depending on how they divided them up.
Right,
since it's not a number of episodes.
This seems like, oh my God, it's taken so long.
Yeah, well, and they just, like I said, they didn't even cast their final 2 characters until January.
Yeah.
Was it January when they cast Roger and Bree?
Yeah, end of January, yeah. Or, end of January.
I mean, they cast Roger first and then finally got Bree cast.
Right.
Just not too long ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Right, just in time to start this last section.
Yeah.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, wow.
All right, well, we'll stop this and watch the next 2 episodes and be back next week.
All right. Sounds good.
All righty. Thanks, hon.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.